episode 1. Hi, Mom. So, today, the focus of today's episode is really I went on ChatGPT and I actually asked AI, like, what are the 10 biggest struggles people really struggle with when they actually try to open up. Yeah, so there were like 10, but the one that resonated with me the most was the fear of rejection. Yeah, so and I would like to like go deeper with you in that conversation because I think the objective of like this channel, the conversation that we're having is really to invite people who are also struggling with coming out to their parents to actually have a sneak peek to how was it like for me when I came out to you like 7 years ago and how are we like today, and like I would like to go back on some conversations that we didn't really talk about like since then. Yeah, and today is the time for us to like go deeper. Yeah, so to frame that, I also have like 5 questions for the both of us. So the first question, and some are like, I'll be asking you and some you'll be asking me. So the first question is,
All the memories that you're growing up are all my fond memories, be it up and down. The biggest baby thing that really stay in my mind is when you were 2 and you had the sickness, your Kawasaki, and I then had the feeling that I may lost you in that sense. So if it say fond, then it's a lot of gratitude that you went through that very big, and then we had the arrangement to go for TCM and then end up with a GP, and then we were rushed to SGH, and then having a doctor who comes back from Australia, a pediatrician who has this exposure for this disease called Kawasaki that only affects children. Because of that, then I value more. So seeing you struggle in hospital, staying 10 days in hospital with you and couldn't go home because it was so attached. And even when I was like falling sick, I didn't dare to see a doctor because I'm afraid that they asked me to go home. So if it's one memory, it's more a gratitude or the treasure of having you still around now.
I have a very specific fond memory was when I was in the kitchen with you, and I think you were preparing food and everything. Then we were just singing and just having fun. We were like supporting each other emotionally as well throughout that me growing up. So um, that was my fondest memory, lor. Really spending quality time. On the weekend, you will bring me out, and we will especially dress up. And it's so interesting. I think now why I dress up and I find focus in dressing up is also because it happened since young. Like, oh my god, we are going for like afternoon brunch, or like we go to somewhere and you bring me somewhere. Then it's always like an adventure. Like with you, it's always an adventure. Yeah, so that's my fondest memory of you, and that was the reason why like I'm so close to you since young. And sometimes my friends will ask me, "Oh my God, why are you so close to your mom?" I think we had that since young. Like when we had nobody to rely on and depend on, we only had each other then. Yeah, so those were like my fondest memory of us together growing up. I think I realized I was different in around when I was 14, when I was secondary school, and at the point in time, because I was going through puberty, then you're having so many physical changes, right? I start to be very interested in one of my classmates. Yeah, so he is very outstanding in terms of in school, outside of school, and he was just like a star student then. Yeah, then initially I was like, he's my role model. I just want to be like him because I was a very awkward kid. Yeah, I was actually taller than everybody else, but that made me stand out, right? But I'm like trying to hide and trying to be in the background. And I was like going through like skin problems as well, having acne, having pimples. So he was just somebody that I looked up to, but that admiration of over time turned into like, oh, infatuation. Like I actually want to spend more time with him. Whenever I don't see him, I feel like a sense of longing. and I actually intentionally like want to stay back after school and make sure that I get on the same bus with him. And that was when I started to feel that I was different. But that difference, that realization that I was different, right, also made me feel a lot of pressure. Yeah, because in an Asian society or like as a kid growing up, right, I know it's not, I think the norm around me is like this is not right. And I was just pushing it down. Yeah, even though I was having these feelings and very conflicted for many years. And there was actually even a time in my coming out or getting to know myself, right, that I became homophobic. That I actually friends that I knew who were gay, right? I intentionally distanced myself away from them, and I actually felt that, oh my god, why are you so disgusting? Why do you choose this and everything? But all because I didn't have the courage to face myself then, and that inner conflict was like so making me like so torn. Like I was struggling between, do I want to be my true self, or do I want to suppress it, and maybe one day if I suppress it long enough, right, maybe I will become normal. Yeah, so this was like how I was like struggling all those years prior to coming out.
Along the way, when you were much younger, I didn't notice. I didn't notice because I also know that you are mainly struggling because overweight. In that period of time when you were in the secondary, where you say you started to feel different, is I would more think that you are struggling with the weight problem. Yeah, and then subsequently after when you moved on to your higher secondary, like in sec 3 or 4, you were struggling with your acne problem. So there's phases of life that in the school, because it were not obvious. You were not obvious. You will either you are good to cover it, or you haven't actually confirmed that you are not straight. Because you yourself also finding actually where who are you, who who are you as a person. So I should say that stage I really not aware. Well, your suffering will be more weight problem, acne problem, a normal. Most of the children that age
Yeah,
puberty and all this, it comes with those
yeah.
problems. You start to more like shut down yourself, then being like you have your own room, you start to lock out, and yeah, not communicating. Also, that period of time, I also observed that you're not as close to your sibling, both your sisters. Yeah, you were like cutting them off. So not only me, but also your sister. But talking about your father, has never been mostly around, and you never. I can observe you didn't look up to him as your role model. Yes, either he's not around or not some person you think you can relate or talk to on your problem.
The moments whereby I wanted to tell you um, were moments that we went on trips together, like when we go on holiday and there was only the two of us, right? Because deep down inside, maybe I know that if I tell you on those trips, even if you don't accept, you cannot run away because we still have to like travel back together. So maybe, but even so, I didn't have the courage. Yeah, I didn't have courage. I remember very one clear incident. We were in Bangkok, right? In that same hotel room, after shower, we were just two single beds, right? We were just lying down, right? So much anxiety. I was like trying to gather every ounce of my body courage, right? And I want to tell you, right? I can feel that the truth is like coming out and at the brim of my mouth already, just cannot come out. And the fear was so crippling. Yeah, I remember that was like I tried on different trips, but that one was like the most. And after I did that, right, I cannot remember when. Like I remember it was like 20, after 20s, after 25. And after that attempt, I told myself that no, I don't want to force myself. Yeah, but the thing was after that, right? Oh my god, the next few years, even worse, because that unhappiness, and I know that, and the belief inside me was, if I don't say this out, me and mom, me and you will not be close. I don't know why I had that belief. And I just need to say it out, then we can go back to being close again. That was like that preconceived idea that I had all along in my mind.
I also, in brief, watched some coming up, like on YouTube. A lot of time it's emphasized, and the emphasis is always on the person coming up. What will happen when my parents reject me? But maybe as a parent, in my reverse side on myself, is what you think the parents, what the reaction is maybe you think that you want to say it, and then you are afraid that you do not have the acceptance. I think your struggle is more acceptance, but also maybe at large. I don't represent all the parents at large, but also think in their position. How can they accept, like immediately, or or like wholeheartedly, even a choice, including myself. I will accept. It's because I don't want to lost. Acceptance means not losing. I mean, I can say, no, I don't want you, I want you to do this. Can I change you? No. It's really your choice of how you want to be. So, as parent, for speaking only for myself, I choose to accept what your choice, not what your decision, and not losing.
And I think it's a very good thing that you brought that up, because I think a lot of my friends who haven't come out to their parents, or a lot of people who are struggling with coming out, right? They always have that perception, that, or the ideal kind of like thinking that after coming out, all my problems will be solved. After I come out to you, there were still a lot of things that I need to work out, or we need to work out together. We need to talk about, and it took time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took time. So that anger that I had within myself, that frustration that I had within myself, that struggle that I had with that overthinking within myself, right, didn't just disappear because I told you, Mom, I'm gay. No, that was only the beginning, or the opening of the door, that, you know what, now I can be honest in our relationship, and now we will begin from here. Yeah. So I and I love it that even 7 years till today, right? Even 7 years to today, we are still doing that today. And for the fact that we are now sitting here together, recording, and now even have that privilege to share our story with many others, right, who are also struggling, right? I think this is the reason why we are doing this. Yeah, so I'm just very grateful that um, we are in this journey together, and every single day, right, we are coming out. Like, you are coming out in your version of being your true self, and I'm coming out to be the person that I'm becoming as well. Yeah, and we are doing this, the best of all, together. Yeah, so this is the part where I'm like the most grateful.
Let's continue to work on it. Yeah, this anyway our journey. Yeah, I'm always open. Then in the end of the day, I only wish to share with you that is, when things like this happen, don't shut down. Because I hear from earlier, if I capture, that you say, if I come up, then you can be close, which is not true. Which is not true. It's also your thoughts. If I come out, I come clean. You know about me. This is me. This is me that you have to accept, whether you like it or not. Then I will be close to you. Not true. Not true. Every day things will happen. Extended like partner or companion you choose to be with, that's also a building process. Yeah. So I hope this is like not a once off conversation we have. We will address it along the way. And if this can help people out there who are not sure, who are struggling, gather the strength, the courage to come up to themselves. Number one, the most important thing is coming out and to be honest with yourself, to accept yourself as what you are. Because if you accept yourself as what you are, then the people around you can learn. I'm not saying they straight away they'll jump in and accept you, can learn. Because they saw your sincerity, your determination to face yourself. Then at least they can be there to be around to help you and to face the same choice that you have with you as your family.